Brumley here with you again, back after a little hiatus. I am still working on editing some content for you guys, and that process is going well. I got some help from a few friends on some different software to use, and that'll be ready for you soon. But today I wanted to come and do the video about the video games that I had mentioned previously, about some of the upcoming ones that interest me as we go forward, and discuss my passion for that hobby as well. And before I do that, I wanted to give a little bit of my gaming history, because I thought it would help sort of flesh out what my likes and dislikes are, and maybe give you guys something else to grab onto as far as what I'm interested in, and give me suggestions for the channel. I have been gaming for a long time, pretty much as long as I can remember. However, I don't do much on the PC for a couple of reasons. One, because I'm a Mac guy, and two, because of my disability, I occasionally find some coordination issues with intensive mouse and keyboard gaming, which is why on my Twitch streams I'm playing primarily Hearthstone. I enjoy card games, but it's simple and doesn't require a whole lot of key mapping and coordination type issues. And so I've been gaming on consoles since I started, so I don't have a whole lot of experience with PC gaming either, and I know some of you out there, PC is the master race. You may have lost interest in this already, but hey, to each their own. I started gaming on the Atari 2600 with my Uncle Randy. When I was very young, he was still in high school, so I couldn't have been, I had to have been a grade school kid, maybe 8, 9. And we were playing Yara's Revenge and Wizard of War on the Atari 2600, and I still have a great fondness for those games, and occasionally play them on emulators to this day. I got an NES at Christmas time, the year of its release. Of course, like everyone, I became obsessed with the Mario games. I was a huge fan of Contra, and I played the original Legend of Zelda and its sequels. I still love the original Legend of Zelda. In fact, it's the only one I continue to play. From there, I graduated onto the Sega Genesis. I didn't have as many games for that system, but it's at that point that I kind of started getting into sports. And I remember I played hours of Joe Montana football. He was my favorite NFL player at that time. And as a matter of fact, that game is making a comeback, according to Cool Joe. In his Twitter feed, he's posted that there will be a new iteration of Joe Montana football coming at some point this year. Of course, they can't get the official NFL licenses. EA owns those, but the game should still be an interesting foray into the NFL. Some people say it's going to be a game day throwback, or an NFL 2K throwback, excuse me, which of course is more popular among some circles than Madden is. I then jumped to PS1. And at that time, I had, I think, one of my first jobs and some other sources of income, and of course not a whole lot of responsibility. So I own pretty much every game that you can imagine for that system. Too many to list. Moved into the PlayStation 2, and pretty much the same thing there. And I had those systems forever. In fact, I think I still have my PS2 somewhere, though it is not currently hooked up. I did have an original Xbox, but I didn't own very many games for the system, but I was introduced to Halo there, and that's pretty much what I lived and died on with that system. And then we have the previous gen with the PS3 and the Xbox 360. I was greatly disappointed with the PS3 as a fan of the Sony systems for many years, except for Uncharted. I have a love relationship with the Uncharted series, and I cannot wait for the new installment of that here on current gen. And also the God of War series was another big one that came out on PS3 that I fell in love with. The Xbox 360 is a great system, probably my second favorite at this point to the PlayStation 4. I continued my journey with Halo and many of the other great Xbox 360 games that came out. And I still love that system. I use it to this day to play Skyrim periodically. And it still, in my opinion, is a better Netflix experience and so on than the Xbox One. So, now we move on to the current gen, and I do own both systems, but I lean heavily toward the PlayStation 4. Sony corrected all the problems the PlayStation 3 had, kind of, as far as I'm concerned, rebirthed the PS2. It's almost like an advanced version of what the PS2 would be if it were made today. My primary problem with the Xbox One is that it seems to be extremely obsessed with television and media delivery. And with so many devices that can do those things now, I think it is just a very narrow-minded view by Microsoft. Plus, so far, their console-exclusive games have not been very good. One thing I do use the Xbox One for is episodic series like those by Telltale Games, the Game of Thrones series, the Borderlands, Tales of the Borderlands series, and Square Enix's Life is Strange series. I use the Xbox One for those types of games, largely because I don't buy physical copies of them, which normally I do because I do enjoy doing trade-ins or sellbacks or putting them on eBay to get money on games that I'm no longer playing. But with those downloadable versions, the Xbox's download system has always seemed to be a little bit more efficient to me, though Sony has made incredible strides in improving their online store, and actually the downloads occasionally tend to be a little bit faster. It's just that I still don't think the system is quite as neat with the way that they handle updates and so on. And also, another big problem I have with the Xbox One and the Xbox 360 before it is the Kinect. Many people don't like it already, but I think it really sucks because it's not handicap friendly. It requires you to stand in order to use it. And while I understand it, because most of the games involve, running or dancing or moving, there should be an option for sitting only, because so many of the games do not require obvious low body movement. And as a person in a wheelchair who could use the exercise, I encourage Microsoft to look into this process and see if you can't make a sitting only option for those of us who are handicapped. It would make the device much more useful and enjoyable for those of us that play your games. And now I just kind of wanted to list off a few of the upcoming games that are coming out here before the end of 2015 that have got me super excited. And I may do some streaming of those games, some reviews of those games. Reviews is something I want to bring to the channel, and I think video games would be a good place to start with that. The first one on the list is Batman Arkham Knight, coming out June 23rd. I have loved the Arkham series since its inception, and I cannot wait to see how it rounds out. What I've seen of the game looks fantastic, and I'm super excited to play it coming up here in June. Final Fantasy 14, I believe this is. Final Fantasy 14 Heaven's Word, coming out June 23rd, has me extremely excited as well. I see that's only on PS4. So as an exclusive, that's another reason why I would lean heavily PS4 so far this gen. The God of War 3 Remaster on July 14th. Now, so many game companies have done these remasters instead of coming out with new content, but let me tell you, so many of the last gen titles were so good that they almost seemed like they were hampered by the previous gen systems, particularly those that came out exclusively on the PlayStation 3, because they had so much trouble with the cell architecture. So I'm excited and thrilled to play the God of War 3 Remaster on my PS4, though I'm excited to play the God of War 3 Remaster on my PS4, though I wish they would do the rest of the games, the rest of the God of War games. I'd like to have a whole collection as we reach into the next God of War game that I'm sure is coming. Then, of course, I'm a Madden head, so there's Madden NFL 16 on August 25th. I have been playing Madden since 2001, and I have a love-hate relationship with the series, but I continue to play it every year, and I will until some other game company gets the license to the NFL, because until they do, even if they are just roster updates, it's really the best NFL game out there. at this point, hoping new entries like the new Joe Montana Football Revival can maybe give them some competition and allow the NFL to consider some other options for their licensing. Now, here's one that I have a little bit of additional discussion on. There is Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, coming out September 1st. I was not a huge Metal Gear fan until Guns of the Patriots. I fell in love with the series at that point. It was a brilliant game. I went back and played some of the old Metal Gear Solids, also brilliant. But I find them very challenging and I occasionally struggle. But Guns of the Patriots, fantastic game, so I was excited as could be for this one. However, I have to report that this is going to be the last Konami game that I buy for a long time. Of course, those of you who follow the video game scene will know that Metal Gear Solid's famous producer, as well as some other games, Hideo Kojima, has left Konami. And as a result of that, another game that many of us were looking forward to, Silent Hills, starring Walking Dead's Norman Reedus, has been canceled. And really, I don't know what Konami has to offer without Kojima. He was their best asset, produced their best stuff. Even if it was just continued iterations in the series, the story was so well told, and everything that he's done I've enjoyed. And so I think Konami is going to be hurting unless they have some plans to really push out good content now that Kojima has left them. So again, that'll probably be the last Konami game I buy. On October 27th, we have Halo 5 Guardians. I'm excited to see the continuation of this series, though I'm kind of hoping they start to bring it to a close here because I think the Halo trilogy or the Halo series has been beaten to death and really at this point lacks anything new or interesting. And now what they're doing is stretching it so far into the pseudo-religious realm that it's sort of lost what it originally intended, which was, you know, when you look at the title of the original game, Combat Evolved, I think it's moving away from that and more into let's try to tell this story that is pseudo-religious, pseudo-philosophical. You know, is Master Chief a hero? Is he a villain? Who's this other Spartan? You know, let's start wrapping it up and bringing it to a close because the series is starting to get stretched thin for me, though I am still excited. The online multiplayer beta has been good. Though I'm not blown away, it has been good. And of course, the last one on my list for now is November 17th, Star Wars Battlefront, which I mentioned in a previous quick video. I am so ready for this game. I almost wish it was coming out this summer so I could start playing it. I am ready for Battlefront. I've been hoping for a sequel to this game for nigh on a decade, so that one is probably the tops of my list at this point. Everybody, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please subscribe and like it and comment below. I do really want your ideas, as I said in the previous video. You have a good idea of what my interests are now, and I really want some comments from those of you that are watching as to what you'd like to see me do. I still have some suggestions from a few people that I'm going to implement, but really what I'm after is what content do you want to see that you aren't already getting or you want a different take on. This is huge for the continuation of this channel. Thank you for watching, guys. King Brimley out.